Thanks for tuning in. This video is gonna be about lower back pain and how to get rid of it. Because since I started sharing my own skating workouts, where as part of my training for the Olympics, as part of becoming a better skater, I do a ton of what we call ultra skates. Everything going from a marathon distance, 42 kilometers, and well, if you've seen my Strava profile, you know that I can go up to 100 kilometers in a single inline skate. And so many of you have been asking, how is this possible? How can your lower back make it all the way? There is thankfully a bunch of nice ways where you can adapt your skating, adapt your workout routine, and also adapt your equipment in order to make it to the end of a, let's say, 100 kilometer inline skate. So in this video, there's gonna be 3 different things that we'll be looking at. First off, how to train your lower back in order to get it stronger and strong enough for so long inline skates. And secondly, we're going to look at the equipment, because there is a lot of changes that you can make easily, instantly, in order to make it a lot easier for not just the lower back, but everything, make it a little more comfortable to go for these long skates. And then finally, we are going to look at your position, because I definitely do believe that this is the one part that can make the biggest difference and that can make these long skates quite comfortable. Before we get too far with all these super smart, simple, instantly working hacks, I should mention that the best way to get a stronger back for long inline skates is to do a ton of long inline skates. So that's the simple answer, but trust me, there is some ways that can make it a lot more comfortable to get to that point. First off, I want to talk about different exercises that you can do. It is really just all the simple exercises that you probably heard of already, but that you haven't really made the link in your mind that it's also going to make you a stronger skater. We're talking stuff like the plank and anything that can just strengthen your, not just your back, but also your core. You can ask most good skaters out there, when they go for really long inline skates, they probably feel to some degree soreness in the abdomen area and the core, because that really helps stabilize your back. And I know it for myself, if I do a hard core workout, then the next day when I'm out for a long inline skate, my back will definitely feel it, because I don't have the core muscles to take off that extra weight. So stuff like planking, and also every exercise where you target the side abs. These could be side bends. I can try and show. A good example would be put on some weight in one hand and then do like this. This way you're really gonna target the area here, because inline skating is not just a bunch of crunches. You don't do this movement. You shouldn't, at least. It's more the sideways stuff and holding it in position. So try and go for statical exercises like planking, or everything where you target the side abs. Next up, the equipment, which in my opinion is the easiest way, because you only have to change your equipment. You don't have to train for it. You don't have to put any extra energy in it, just a little bit of cash. But if you're smart, you can probably get a lot out of your money. My first advice is very simple: switch for softer wheels. It all depends which kind of wheels you're using, but if you're using all MPC wheels, go for firm instead of extra firm or extra firm. Yes, this will be slightly slower in terms of the roll of the wheel, but I'm pretty sure that you can make up for it simply by not losing speed, by stretching your back all through a workout, or stuff like just more comfort will save your muscles. No sore shins, no sore lower back. It's gonna keep you a little more relaxed, and that's gonna make you skate better. So change for softer wheels. Another thing is, well, it's pretty simple. It goes for everything, but get some nice skates. You want your skates to have, to some extent, some cushioning, so they're comfortable and so they don't make you overly tense. But that being said, you also want them to be firm, so you don't have to spend extra energy around the ankles to stay on top. Because I know angles is not the lower back, but being a little shaky here is gonna make you extra tense up here. So there's another way to change your equipment. The final way is by getting more contact points with the ground. This means if you're on a 3-wheel frame, you should probably change for a 4-wheel frame, because it's going to be easier to absorb all those vibrations when you're out skating, especially if it's bad asphalt quality. Now it is time to talk about the skating position. That is the most important point, and it's also going to be the one that takes the longest to adapt to, and also the longest for me to explain. But I will try and make 2 videos here, and then I'll put them up next to each other so you can really see every little detail that I change about my position in order to be more comfortable. And a little bonus thing here is that they're all gonna make you skate faster. It's not like a thing that you have to give up speed in order to be more comfortable and spare that lower back. It's a win-win. All right, so on this side, I will be showing you all the stuff you shouldn't do. And on this other side, I will step by step go through all the changes that you would have to make in order to be able to skate for a long time with no lower back pain, but still go step by step because it takes a while to adapt. Okay, so if there's any doubt, this side is how you should do it. So first point is get your knees a little out in front of the top of your toes. Again, this is going to absorb more vibrations and take off that strain from the lower back and get it down here and be more loose in it. Especially if it's a bumpy road, it's a really nice thing to add. Next up, move your center of gravity a bit forward. If you're like this, you're basically planking for your entire skate, and no wonder you can't do that for a marathon, or say even longer than a marathon. So moving this a little underneath yourself. And then, I mean, if you're standing up like this, obviously you can hold your back the entire day when you're at work or school or whatever you do in your daily routine. So get that forward underneath yourself. All right, so now that we got the knees out, the hips under, center of gravity, think about raising your shoulders. Instead of doing this, get them up here. This will also create a little arch here in your stomach. We're not deadlifting, so don't think about that overly straight back. Instead, think about the fact that if it's a little rounded here, you can also engage your core better, which, like mentioned previously, can take off the strain from the lower back. So hips forward, knees out, be a little crunched here. Now that we're in this somewhat comfortable position, it's time to think about the shoulders. Why would you go with overly tense shoulders if you can relax them? Especially if you go for long skates, you're not using the arms, just save all the energy you can. So relax the shoulders. And finally, why would you have your head up here? It's aerodynamically not the best thing you could do. And also let your head drop down so it's perfectly aligned with your spine and not using extra energy. Well, now you're ready to go for a really long skate. That was all my advice for adapting for a more comfortable skating position that will allow you to go for longer skates at the time. There's one final point that I just want to mention before I say bye-bye. It is that when I do long skates, especially in the beginning of the season, and when I advise all the athletes that I coach personally, my first advice is that when you start out with going for longer skates, don't just go out there and skate as long as you can until your back can't take it anymore. Instead, try and divide it in shorter, I would almost call it aerobic intervals, where, per se, if the first workout of the year, you want to go for half an hour, do it a 1 minute of skating, 1 minute rest, 1 minute skating, 1 minute rest. And then as you move on and you get more fit, when your back adapts a little more, and if you work on these position tips and tricks I just gave you, you can change it for maybe an hour and a half of skating where you go for 10 minutes, take a minute rest, stretch the back, another 10 minutes, rest again. And so this is still going to give you the same aerobic workout. You're still going to have as many minutes in the heart rate zone as you want to, and you can practice your pacing. Technique is really everything in skating, so don't go out there and kill yourself just to see how many kilometers you can skate without having a little piece of rest in between. Take it easy and go step by step, because that's how we improve, and not just skating but all sports. I'm really happy you wanted to watch this video, and I hope you already seen some of my other videos. If not, there'll be some links here, or you can just check out my channel, because I try my best and maybe you'll find some of it to be useful. If you liked it, you can always like it and subscribe if you want to see what's up next. It was a pleasure, and I'll see you on the inlines.